Today we'll be discussing the microbes in your wine. So just some fun history about wine. An ancient fable tells a story of a princess who had lost all favor with her king. And in an attempt to commit suicide, she ate a handful of rotten grapes. After she got giddy, she fell asleep. When the princess awoke, she had realized that most of her anxiety had dispersed. Her entire attitude had changed. And when the king discovered what the princess was up to, by royal decree, he ordered mass production of more rotten grapes. Now let's get to the microbes. Did you know that yeast is considered a microbe? Yeast is a tiny plant-like microbe used to make bread dough rise and alcoholic drinks like cider, wine, and beer. Natural yeast grows on the skin of the grape, and when the grapes are crushed, the sugar and the yeast collide. This begins the fermentation process, and the yeast converts the sugar into alcohol. So what's in your wine, you ask? You guessed it, microorganisms. Microbes are in most of your foods now. You just didn't know it. So as you can see from the chart here, there's both helpful and harmful microbes. Now the helpful microbes can help recycle dead materials or help you prepare for your wine, whereas the harmful microbes can cause diseases in plants and animals and cause food spoilage. For centuries, wine was produced and enjoyed with little thought or understanding of its underlying science. In 1857, French chemist Louis Pasteur discovered that wine was made of microscopic organisms, yeast. This little microbe here is called Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Saccharomyces cerevisiae literally means sugar fungus. And yeast are fungi, and this one lives off of sugar. This little microbe does a lot of the work during the fermentation process. And this is the same species of yeast that is used in making bread. It's usually present in very small amounts on the grapes that are found in vineyards. This little guy is called Enococcus oini. This microbe is a lactic acid bacteria. However, this microbe is able to use malic acid to perform maladic fermentation. The maladic acid was converted from the lactic acid. Clever things, aren't they? Maladic fermentation lowers the acidity and raises the pH of the wine. With its ability to de-acidify the taste of the wine, this microbe helps give your wine that full-body taste. This microbe is called lactobacillus. Now these are usually starter cultures for a lot of fermented foods. These foods include yogurt, cheese, sauerkraut, pickles, cider, and other foods that require a controlled spoilage process. Most of these microbes make themselves known in unpleasant ways. Lactobacillus has the ability to increase the volatile acidity, which means that it can fill up an old bottle of red wine with a cotton candy-like substance that smells like a dead mouse. So the last one I'm going to talk about today is called Brettanomyces. Now this microbe is used interchangeably, and while some consider its wine flavor to be garbage, most appreciate the Brett kind of wine. The cellular morphology of this yeast can lead the microbe to either be an ovid or a long sausage-like shape. The Brett can cause large amounts of acetic acid. Now, acetic acid is usually found in things like vinegar, but it has a lot of sensory compounds, so therefore it's used by a lot of winemakers. I know for a lot of you wine drinkers out there, some of this is a little bit hard to hear. So the next time you're holding that glass up and thinking about the yeast and microorganisms about to slide down your throat, just remember, most commercial wines are sterile filtered before bottling. In fact, the worst case scenario is that a sweet wine that does have some residual yeast cells, they continue to ferment inside the bottle. And as the yeast releases CO2, the pressure inside the bottle can increase. So, someday, you might have a cork pop off of your bottle. However, that is highly unlikely. So you should know that some wineries choose not to filter. It just isn't worth losing the taste, color, or feel sometimes that the filter can trap. The good news is that most of these microbes die off during the fermentation process. The ones that make it through, though, often die because of the sulfur dioxide or clarification that the wine undergoes toward the end. The high alcohol level doesn't hurt either. Ingesting any of these microorganisms won't harm you if one of them should get into your glass.